Hello and welcome to this next episode. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my leisure battery. So I've already got one 110, let me turn you down here a little bit. I've already got one 110 amp hour battery and I wanted to make it two 110 amp hour batteries, so I have been and bought another one today. I've got to join them together in parallel, my dad said, because my dad was an electrical engineer, so he told me all about it. And I've got to link the neutral terminal to the neutral or the negative, and the positive to the positive. I've got some wire. I've only got red wire, but I'm going to cut it in half. And I have got myself some insulation tape from Halfords, and I am going to wrap up one of the wires so that it's black, because I wasn't going to buy any more wire because you couldn't buy just that piece easily. I've bought two terminals to go onto the battery itself. So this is the neutral terminal, and rather than screwing onto the terminal here with a bolt, this one has actually got two terminals here on it already, so you just put your wire in and you clamp it in with the little screwy thing there, and that clamps on, so I won't need to put it into a spadey thing like this, only on one end to join it to the first battery. And the other ends will go into these bits like that, so that will make that nice and simple. There are two ways to join batteries together. You can do it either in series or in parallel, and my understanding is that if you do it in parallel, it increases the capacity, so you go from having one 110 power to two 110 power batteries, 110 amp hour batteries, which means you've got more capacity, so your power will last longer. If you join them together in series, that would give you 24 volts rather than 12 volts, because it adds them together to increase the voltage rather than the capacity of how long you can use your battery for. It's already fitted on the split charge system, so when I've joined them together, that should charge both batteries fine. I also understand that a split charge, or I think it's called a voltage sensitive relay is another name for it, they only charge your batteries, I believe, to about 80%, and as I've been parked on the drive at my dad's for a few days, my battery had got a bit low, down to about 10.5 volts, which is quite low because you shouldn't use them till they get very low. I do talk some rubbish, but I went and bought a battery charger. So this one plugs into the mains, so this would be good if I'm parked at my dad's house and I need to charge the battery up. Also, if I am on a campsite and they've got an electric hookup, it means that I will be able to charge my batteries through this rather than having to start the engine. I do intend to put solar on the roof at some point, however this was 42 quid I think, and solar's a fair bit more. Also, solar wouldn't really work today because it's been really dull and horrible. So I bought this. So what I'm going to do now is do some stuff with my electricery, and I will get back to you and tell you what I've done. I've got my piece of wire and I've put it in two now, and I'm just using my, I don't really know what it's called. It's a multi-tool that you use for crimping your wires into the little spadey connector things, but it's got a wire cutter a wire stripper. Oh, do you know what? I actually find when I'm stripping wires that I do better with a pair of scissors, and I just cut round it like that, and then he says, and then you slide it off like that, and there you go. It's all nicely stripped. And I'll do the other end. Normally, when I bought my split charge relay kit, they they didn't give me anything. They supplied in the kit some shrink wrap stuff that you put round your terminals, and then you heat it up with either a heat gun or a hairdryer or a lighter or a candle or something to do that. But I just bought a roll of insulation tape, and I thought I'm just gonna use insulation tape, because why am I gonna go and buy extra stuff when this will do perfectly well, because it's called insulation tape, so it's gonna do the job. So what I'm gonna do on one end of this, ouch, I'm gonna spike my finger on the wires. You have to sort of squeeze these together so that you can get them inside one of these things here without missing any wires out. And if you twist it round in the way that you've twisted it together, you can kind of get it all the way on. But you only need to do about, I guess, about a centimetre of, strip it back by about a centimetre, because then you can get the wire, the spade, you can shove it right in as far as the sheathing, what you call it, don't know. But then this tooly thing, it's like a crimpy tool. You use it to close the insulations up, and I just use various different bits. So you squeeze the tool thing, and it crimps it onto the terminal, and they're really easy. I kind of like to use these jaggedy ones because I think if it's got jaggedy bits sticking inside, it's more likely to grip onto the wire. But yeah, so that is nice and firm, and I'm going to open this tape, and I'm going to make this into the negative one, and I'm going to tape this up if I can ever find the end. There we are. So now I have a black wire and a red wire, and I didn't have to go and buy any more wire. But also, nobody's going to get confused and think, oh, which is the positive, which is the negative, because this is very obviously the black wire, the negative. Luckily, these terminals, despite the boxes saying positive and negative, when you get them out of the box it could be confusing. However, I don't know if you'll see this, but let me kin it, but just at the top here there's an N, and on the positive there's a P. So if you do get them out of the box and they're jingling around, it's not going to get too confusing because you'll know which is which. What is good, when you get these batteries, they have a little red cap on the positive and nothing on the negative, although There is a little indented positive logo there, icon, whatever it's called, and here there's a negative, but they're not that easy to see. Hopefully this will go on nice and easily. So I've got it onto my negative, and I just need to, well, I do with my fingers to start with. And then just finish it off with the spanner, which is not at all awkward. Now you have to be careful because the negative, I believe, is slightly smaller, the terminal, than the positive. So if you get the wrong connector and you put it onto the positive instead, it's really tight to try and squeeze it up, because this one is a little bit bigger. Because I made that mistake last time when I was doing this battery. Here at the minute I've just got the battery charger clamped onto it, which I will take off before I hook them both together, because I don't really want it to be wired up to the mains while I'm trying to do my jiggery pokery. So right, what I have done now, I have connected my black cable to the negative terminal. I have clamped it all in. You know it's the red wire already, but I've taped it all up to make it into a black wire. I've put the spade terminal on the end. I've done exactly the same with the red cable and put that onto the end. And I have, annoyingly, the bolts on here were a spanner number 12, and I thought, oh, they'll be all standard, but the bolts on this battery, or the clips that came with this battery kit, fit the number 13 spanner, which luckily I'd got. So I'm going to fit the positive to positive, and you're okay to touch the terminals individually, I think, because you're not making a full circuit unless you earth it. I'll gently touch it to make sure it doesn't fizz. Oh, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit because it's the big bolt. That's really annoying, because now I've got to find if I've got a bigger spade terminal-y thing and take that off, which won't be easy. So very annoyingly, because I didn't check, that this doesn't fit onto there, and I'm trying to pull it off, but it's really difficult, which is probably a good thing. Get a connector that fits. So now I should be able to put this on here with no sparks. Get me number 13 and screw this one on. So now that's all nice and tight. That's not going anywhere. It'd be nice if I had some of that insulation, but it's all right because this all goes under a big box anyway, and if you touch that bit, it makes no odds really, does it? Because you're only millimeters away from exposed terminal. Next, I have to do the same thing with this end. So I fitted the bigger spade connector on here and crimped it on with the jobby. So I take the screw off here, and this, there should be no sparks, he says. goes onto there. Get my little spannery thing and make sure that's nice and tight. And that's it, really. I have got my 2 leisure batteries connected together, and now that should have doubled the amount of energy I've got here. It's not increased the voltage, it will still be 12 volt, but it will last me twice as long, so that's good. So what I've got going on here is this is my second battery, this is my first battery, second battery, neutral and neutral, or negative and negative, both connected together. Positive and positive, both connected together. If you're wondering what the other wires are, this wire is taken straight to the chassis of the vehicle, which makes it like the neutral sort of negative, and so you can pick that up from any other bare metal parts on the vehicle body, so you don't have to put sort of black wires all over the place. You just link them to earthing points on the vehicle. However, the red wire, this one obviously goes from battery to battery. This one goes to my little fuse box that's on the wall up there, to power all my lights and my heater and stuff like that. And then this other one, which goes down here and goes through the fuse, this one goes back to the split charge relay that links it to my engine's starter motor. So when the engine is running and it reaches a certain voltage, it flips a little switch in the voltage sensitive relay, also known as a split charge. It flicks the little switch and it means it starts these batteries charging. So that helps when you're driving. As I said before, I've now got this this baby, which is my mains battery charger, which I hope to put on the wall somewhere under here, and that means I'll be able to keep my batteries topped up either when I'm visiting my dad or I've got access to an electric hookup. I've now got twice as much energy as I had before. Thanks for watching. If you could please give me a like, and if you would subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, I'd be very grateful. There is a button somewhere here, and if you click the little bell you can get a notification when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.